I just bought a axle for my 2003 Acura MDX. My boot actually did not tear. It just started to leak the grease off of the edge right here. I've been driving it like that for about a year, and now my tires are kind of wearing strange, so I think the joint inside's kind of worn. So I'm going to be replacing it. This is the passenger side. I purchased this axle from CarQuest, brand new. It cost me with tax $72.90. Let's take off the tire and start the process. Okay, the wheel is off, so you can kind of actually see the axle. There it is, and it was leaking grease from the very edge of the boot. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this nut off. So I'm going to have to pound out a little bit there, the hammered edge. Just stick a screwdriver and kind of push it out so it can rotate. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on that. So I'm going to use my 36mm socket. I got a breaker bar. I'm going to go ahead and put that in, but it's going to spin if you try to unscrew it off. So I've got a little pin that I'm going to slip in here between the grooves. Let's see here, and the brake caliper. And I'm going to go ahead and spin on that. I'm going to need both hands, so hold on. I loosened it. I had to use my pipe here, extra leverage, and I was able to finally break it loose. Don't take it completely off. You don't want to do that yet. So I'm just going to leave it loose like that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the brakes and put that aside, the calipers, take out the disc. Okay, one of the things these discs have is these screws here. So I'm going to use this impact screwdriver. So when I tap it with a hammer at the end, it just automatically turns it for me because they're not turning easily, and I don't want to strip it. Okay, with the 10mm socket, remove the top and the bottom. Okay, so I tied the caliper up kind of with hooks and stuff. I'm going to take out these pins. Make sure you now take out the brakes. And I'm gonna take off these bolts here. It takes a 19mm socket. Now the disc is loose. You can kind of jiggle it out. If you have a problem taking out this disc, I've already recorded in one of my other YouTube videos how to remove a disc that's kind of stuck on there. So one of the things that you might as well check is if this, for some reason, there's any play, grab with two hands, one on one side, one the other, and if there's any kind of strange play, that means that you'll need, the bearings are broken, and you should replace this whole hub here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these two bolts and pull this out away from the strut. So let's go ahead and try to break that. Actually, that wasn't so bad at all. Also, one thing to be aware of, I could have marked these up so I can tighten them back to where they were. You're going to need to do a wheel alignment once you do this job. Just tap it until it kind of pulls out at the other end. Okay, they'll pop out. Careful, there you go. take this out. Okay, I see the two bolts. These two are out. Start pulling and separating the strut from the axle assembly. I'm going to need two hands, so I'll show it to you once it's done. Okay. Just want to show you the progress. I've been tapping it. I've been using an extender here and just very lightly tapping it in, and it's coming out. So finally, again tapping it very gently. It's now out. See, this end is out. So there's a metal plate, so it's very hard to put a lever inside, a screwdriver or tool to push this axle joint out. I've been using a particular lever here. What I had to kind of do was kind of stick it in here like that and kind of hammer it up and in, and it finally kind of popped a little bit. So you can now see that there's a little gap right there. I just pulled it out some more, but I should now be able to pop out this axle. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. You can now see that the axle is out. So that's the end it came out from. Here it is. Here's this little metal plate kind of blocking the option to kind of stick your tool in and pry it out. The new one, take a look at the new one here. See, the new one doesn't have any metal plate, so I'm gonna debate whether to put it in or not. If it pops out easy, maybe I'll put it in, maybe not. I'll have to compare these two to make sure they're identical. You know, they're not completely identical, but according to CarQuest, it'll work. So I put that little metal shield back on. I'm gonna now go ahead and put the axle in. What I did was I just kind of rocked back and forth. Then you'll feel it pop in, and so that end is in. Just to double check. Yep, it looks seated very well. Now I'm gonna slip this joint inside. I'm gonna need both hands, but I think you get the idea. So what I did was, as I push it in with my foot, I kind of pushed this down a little bit, and then I was able to very easily slide it in. Put the nut back in, just part of the way. So anyways, I'm going to align these two and put the bolts back in. So one easy thing to do is, while you stick in the screwdriver and you kind of push on it, pull around, you're able to kind of adjust the top one so we can get it in. The bolts are in, and a lot of little playing to try to get those bolts in there. Got to put those washers in. And just to repeat myself, make sure you get a wheel alignment done after you perform this job. This has all been moved, so you'll want to do that. The axle is in. I was using the old nut, and I used the new nut that came with it. The torque on the strut to steering knuckle bolts and nuts is 116 pounds or 157 newtons. The next thing to put back is the disc. I'm going to put the caliper mounting bracket back on. The bolts for these, the torque is 80 feet-pounds or 108 newtons. I'm going to tighten the drive shaft nut. I'm going to put my little metal shim right there to kind of lock the disc. The torque for this nut is 210 feet-pounds or 280 newtons. Now that the nut has been torqued, you need to pinch it so to prevent it from coming out. So either a screwdriver or whatever tool you want to use. I'm going to go ahead here and hammer this down a little bit so it doesn't slip out. The brake pads are back in. Don't forget to put the pins. The torque for the caliper mounting bolts is 27 foot-pounds or 37 newtons. The final torque specification for the wheel lug nuts is 80 feet-pounds or 108 Newton meters. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and lower the car, take it for a test drive. Good luck.